Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Soulful Feast, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. I'm your host, Stephanie Zubiri, and if you are new to this podcast, well, thanks for finding us. It's probably something in the universe and you're meant to be here because I believe that everything is serendipitous. So I hope you take a nice message from today. And if you do, please follow us, subscribe, and share this podcast if you enjoyed it. All right, what are we going to talk about today? So I heard this term raw dog, and there are so many different interpretations of it. So I kind of Googled it because I feel like this is something I did for like 2 weeks over the summer. So what does raw dog mean? Now, the Merriam-Webster dictionary says it's a slang term that means to endure a difficult, dull, or mundane activity without any diversions or other support while doing it. The word is particularly used in playful or irreverent reference to engaging in ordinary experiences like air travel, exercising, or chores without simultaneously engaging in some form of entertainment like listening to music or watching a video. Okay, so why is this important? It's a little story time. So every summer, my kids have a really long summer break, and because yay, perks of being an entrepreneur, I get to choose my schedule and I get to make sure that I can align so that I can have at least a month off with my kids. Of course, I'm answering emails and things like that. But we go to a very special place in Canada. We visit Scott's family there. So Scott's my partner and he's Canadian. Canadians are really nice. So yay, any Canadians out there, drop me a message. So we go every summer, and out of that month, we are so fortunate that 2 weeks of that month is spent on a lake. A little beautiful cottage on a lake that we rent from this lovely couple, Jan and David. Hi, Jan and David. It's so wonderful. Think of like a little log cabin in the woods overlooking this beautiful, peaceful lake. Now, the lake is not like super large, and across the lake is just a forest. It's a forest reserve, the Frontenac National Park. And it's nice because in most lakes, you have houses all around the lake. So it's really lucky and really special. And in previous years, I would always prepare for this lake trip, like stacks of books, stacks of magazines. I make Ipon magazines. I bring all these books and then, music and just all kinds of stuff, right? So you're there for 2 weeks. We literally don't move. We just sit there and, hang out. The kids go fishing. We go swimming and all of that. But there's nothing I love more than like sitting there reading or listening to music on the dock. But this summer, I still brought a lot of books. I still brought magazines. But I actually didn't want to read any of them. Particularly no fiction books because I'm working on my own creative writing project. So all my books are kind of like spiritual books, self-help, history. And I had some magazines. And every time I would bring it down to the dock. So we had this beautiful dock and these deck chairs and the kids are, swimming or fishing or hanging out. I just wouldn't read it. I would, just sit all afternoon and raw dog on the dock, like literally stare at the lake the whole time, like no music, no reading material, nothing. It was just like the absolute deliciousness of just being. And I can say that because I feel like when we are back in the city, back in the grind, we don't take those moments, right? And it was almost as if my soul and my brain was craving like a delete empty trash. Like, when you have to like clear out the trash bin because your computer is like super slowing down. And so you have all this stuff on your computer, all these apps or your phone, all these apps, all these unnecessary stuff that's there, photos, like whatever, screenshots, random things that are just like taking up space. And then you take time to like delete them. but they're still in your trash can and you just haven't like properly erased them. Well, this felt like for me just delete empty trash for my mind, and it was everything that I was needing because I realized that I used to really go through life taking these micro moments. And, I lived in France in 2003. I moved there in 2003. I didn't have a smartphone. I barely had a cell phone. It was some flip phone with clickety clack, like barely could text people. I didn't even join Facebook then, nothing. So you would go out and I would frequently have lunch or be in the metro by myself. Okay, fine, I had like my iPod, but not in a restaurant. iPod banana. If you don't know what an iPod is, well, congrats to you. You're very young. But I would spend a lot of time just observing and being present. And I found my journals from Paris and I had so many creative ideas, so many stories, so many things I would imagine about the people I saw, the people that would like cross the street. I would invent stories about them or about the food that I was eating. And I was like, how come I can't write like that anymore? And it's because I am not receiving information or downloads from the universe or just being open to the world in the same way. So, show of hands, and I'm sure even if I can't see you, all of you are going to be raising your hand. How many of you guys spend your commutes or car rides or even if you're going to go out for a coffee by yourself, how many of you just randomly scroll your phone? Like you just probably checked your social media 15 minutes ago and you're on it again, just scrolling, right? Why? Anything really happened, nothing groundbreaking, nothing. And it's because we constantly need to be entertained. And I observed this with my children. Imagine we went screen free for 6 weeks. So we left 6 weeks this summer. We went screen free, no TV shows, no digital devices, no iPad, no Nintendo for my kids for 6 weeks. And they were their most alive and vibrant selves. And those little hits of dopamine, those sort of multitasking folders in our brain, we think we're multitasking, but we're really not. And it actually really takes away from whatever it is you're experiencing. So this summer, all I did was actually sit on that dock for 2 weeks, doing nothing, eating potato chips and having a glass of wine and observing the way my son would swim around in his like life vest and flippers and look at all the stuff that he would, pick up and he would show it to me. And I was just present. I wasn't like, oh yeah, that's nice. I was like, oh my gosh, show this to me. Like I was so present. You would look at the lake and you would observe that when the wind would pick up, it would change, it would have more waves, and then the sun would like glimmer on it, and then there were moments that the lake would be so still and so calm, and then every so often like a turtle would like pop up and like bloop, say hi and then disappear, and it was just so special. And one of my goals this summer was to pick up my meditation practice in a more serious way because it's kind of fallen off. I'll take like micro meditations, but I wasn't like really deepening my practice again. I've just been so busy. And so I was like, this is perfect. I'm going to do this every morning. But I'll tell you what, I didn't really need to because every moment was a meditation. I was so present. It was exactly what mindfulness was about. It's presence, right? So I guess why am I sharing this with you guys? I think it's because I want to encourage you to bring in this practice into your everyday life. This like raw dogging, being present, doing nothing, no distractions, no entertainment, even if you're not doing anything, like you're waiting for your Grab, you're waiting for whatever, you're in the car. Like, do you really need to constantly be entertained? Do you really need to have noise in your ear? Sounds like music, podcast? Like, do you really need to be bombarded with information all the time or entertainment all the time? Perhaps there's more to be had and just allowing what the world wants to offer you to come, and we won't be able to receive it if we're not open to it. So my invitation for you today is to think about a couple of micro moments in your day where you can do this. Is it perhaps going to sleep and putting your phone in a different room to charge so that when you wake up, you can really relish your bed, the slowness of waking up, the new day, looking at the sunshine, even just for 5 minutes? Is it when you're waiting for your Grab or your, angkas or your whatever ride, instead of like scrolling mindlessly on your phone, put it away. Observe. Who's around you? Who's walking down the street? Is there a vendor? What do you think their life might be like? What is this building? Like, who's in that building? Is there a bird singing? I mean, all these things. Even in a city, you'll find that there's all these like little treasures of inspiration, and you'll have all this beautiful inspiration if you leave yourself open to it. So think of where these micro moments could be and how you could take them. And perhaps the best way is to try and enjoy a lunch, a meal by yourself with no phone. No phone, no book, no music, nothing. Just you and some food, and just see, observe how much more respect you have for your food, how much more delicious your food might actually be when you're paying attention to it. I've done this before in a retreat in a place that had like a no phone policy in a restaurant, and I can tell you the experience was just wow. So just try it, being alone and having a meal. And with that, I have another treat for you. This is a 2-part episode, and I'm making it 2 parts so you can pick up that meditation anytime you want without listening to this intro. I have made a little coffee meditation for you guys, and I'll do a matcha version another day, but I know most of you out there are coffee drinkers, so I will do a little 5-minute coffee meditation for you guys just right after this episode. It's right there, and you can use it anytime you need to center yourself and take that coffee break. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope you find 5 minutes for yourself to just be present today. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget, subscribe. You can find us on Instagram. I'm at Stephanie Zubiri, and of course at Soulful Feast is also on Instagram, and we're on YouTube. So thanks so much for sharing this moment with us. Don't forget to tag and repost. It's been a pleasure. I'm Stephanie, and this is Soulful Feast, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit.